Add positivity, not subtract negativity. That's the title of this video today. And we're going to be going into it and what that basically means, because I find this extremely important when it comes to self-improvement, and a lot of people miss this step. And I'm going to be going into the idea of why adding positivity is the way to go rather than subtracting negativity. And I'm kind of get more specific with that and kind of giving you guys more insight on what that actually means and how to apply it in your life to become a better person. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you guys are new in here, you guys know what to do. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for the support recently. It means a lot. I do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I honestly cannot show my gratitude. It's great. It's great seeing, for an example, a YouTube Shorts do really well, or one of my videos get a lot of comments. It's really good. I like it a lot, so I do appreciate it. And yeah, you guys are the greatest. All the thanks to you guys. But let's get right into it, because I'm actually very excited to talk about this. I've had this on my big whiteboard for a very long time to talk about it, and I haven't, and now I'm going to. So let's get right into it, okay? So what I mean by adding positivity, not subtracting negativity, is this. A lot of people are probably thinking, but if I take away the bad, that'll only mean good. Wrong. If you take away the bad, you'll be left with nothing. There'll be no alternative. And I do believe there is a limit to this. And the void, or the nothingness, could actually just be a positive. I will definitely say there is a bit of a loophole when it comes to that type of topic, because for an example, let's say, you were, what's a really bad habit? Let's go with not really bad, but let's go with biting your nails, right? If you have yourself, if you bite your nails a lot, a lot, and you stop, you're subtracting the negativity. And without you having your nails bitten, and you don't bite your nails no more, that's a positive, right? That bad habit has been broken, right? But a lot of times those types of habits fall because there's no alternative. And I'm not going to be going into biting your nails, because it's a pretty simple bad habit, to the point where if you sit there and stop biting your nails, that's it, right? But I'm talking more of the lack of self-discipline, or the constant negative struggle and self-consciousness that you may have. That type of more in-depth bad habit, there's a way to go about it rather than the little bad habits. Little bad habits, I'll definitely say there is that loophole when it comes to it. So I want to subtract that before people start asking questions oh, that doesn't really make sense. If anyone does, which I'm sure no one will, but you may be thinking that as you're watching this video, if I stop doing this, that's a good thing, right? It's more or less the severe or more detrimental bad habits that we're going to be focusing on today. Those little ones, if you stop doing them, they're kind of minute, they're small enough to the point where that is automatically a positive transferred into it. But you have to add the positive. You have to be able to add it, because one way I like to think, this is kind of more, not even really physical bad habits, more mental, right? More your mental capacity and emotional and everything like that. Some physical situations do, and occurrences do apply. Come to think of it, kind of most do, but this is more applied to mental, right? So let's say you have a glass, right? That glass can only be filled so much. You can only put so much liquid into it, whatever you're putting into it, right? And that's kind of going to be the analogy going into it. You can only put so much liquid into it. You can only put so much liquid into, why is my head barely visible? What is happening? There we go. I had to move it back there. My apologies. But, you have a glass, right? It can only be filled so much before it starts overflowing, right? Let's say that glass is your mind, your mental capacity, how much thoughts you're able to take in, and how much negativity you're able to tolerate. There we go, that's the word. And kind of that type of stuff, right? If 90% of that liquid is filled with red liquid, being your negative thoughts, but only 10% being green liquid, being your positive thoughts, there's not a lot of room. You can't add 100% positive, because that glass is overflowing. But these bad habits are taking over your life so much that you can't even get to the point of adding positivity, because there's no room left. And that's why I really want to kind of base this video around your mental struggles, not more or less your physical struggles, because stopping or starting to do something is a positive or negative regardless. This is more based on mental struggles, right? Mental doubts, all these limiting beliefs that, are in your mind, because your mind, we can talk a lot about physical things, but your mind is very important. Your mind is your supercomputer, basically, right? You do everything goes on up here, and that really just that does change your world physically. Sorry, I cannot, that sentence was actually just broken. I couldn't even speak there, my fault, but you kind of get what I'm saying, right? So you need to be able to take out the doubts, because your mind can only handle so much. And especially if your mind is most of the time negative, there's not going to be any opportunity for optimistic, let me try to be positive. There's not. There's probably been times where you've tried to make a change, but you can't. Why? Because the negativity has catered, and you've catered to that negativity so much in your life, regardless if you're aware of it or not, to the point where you cannot even make that decision for yourself. So that's why we have to add the positivity in, because it cancels it out, right? If you try to take out, like, think of it like this. If you try to take out the negativity, right, there's going to be nothing in the glass left, right? And that's why I believe so strongly mentally, it's just going to come back. Because if you're not reinforcing it with anything, it'll just come back, right? And there's times where you've probably tried to try to get rid of the thoughts, but it just keeps coming back. It's like, you know what I mean? There's like, what reason is it? You can only have 100% of your thoughts. 100% of that glass can be filled. 100%, right here. You can't add the positivity without subtracting the negativity first, right? That type of thing. And it's more or less reinforcing it. When I say add positivity, it just means reinforcing it. There has to be a will to combat, because let's say you poured out 10% of that negative thought, it's only going to come back when you think about it. Like one day you do really, really good of like battling your mental struggles when you think of it, like for example, like being self-conscious about something. It's only going to come back. It's only going to come back to bite you. Like that's just how it is. And if you don't have that positivity, there's no reinforcement. It'll just come back, right? So that's kind of the first part of that. But the second part of it is also being aware, like understanding that there's going to be no room for negativity anymore. We talked about like the glass being 100% full. There's no capacity, once again, no mental capacity for that negativity anymore. If you learn to fill your glass almost 100%, because you can't be perfect, you can't 100% of the time be happy no matter what. The things that happen in your life that just kind of suck regardless, and you know, that being a human, you're vulnerable to those types of things, right? So do not kind of like, don't limit yourself to that type of stuff, right? Sorry if you guys hear any background noise, family. But you know, like kind of being more aware of that. If you fill your glass more with positivity, there will be no room for negativity, right? And once again, if you just try to solely focus on getting the negativity out of the glass, there's no room left. There's no positive reinforcement. Therefore, it's only going to come back. Negativity is very contagious. You guys know this. It'll pop up very quickly back into your life. And once again, I've mentioned to you, you could probably think back to a time where that has happened, where you have thought negatively and it has come back. Maybe you battled it, you did well, but it has only come back. So the takeaway from this video is to understand that you have to have the positive reinforcement. Instead of trying to focus so hard on taking out the negativity and just having it linger back because it's so contagious, focus more on adding the positivity to reinforce, battle, combat that negativity to the point where you have that glass almost 100% full and there's no room for that because your mind is so fortified to the point where there's no room to entertain the negativity anymore. That was kind of a little bit everywhere, but that was the main message I wanted to give out. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. I think I may have went off tangent and kind of like went against what I was saying for a minute at one point, but I think I kind of brought it back with that. So yeah, kind of a confusing topic. Like it was kind of confusing me kind of speaking about it. You know what I mean? Like I put some thought into it, but even then it's still kind of a little bit confusing, but you get the idea, right? There has to be that adding of positivity. You know, you can't take it out. Like negativity is contagious, but so is positivity, right? But you got to focus on bringing the green, the good, the positive into that cup, into your mental capacity to fight it, to fortify your mind, to not have it come back in, right? You got to build that door back up with positivity. If it breaks down, it's so easy for negativity to come back in there. So easy. As you're trying to seek out positivity, negativity just flying in there and it's filling the glass up again. So learn to fortify your mind with the green, the positive. That's it. That's my story. That's what I got today. Story? That's not what I meant, but you know what I mean. Any questions, let me know. Because this is more of a confusing one. But hopefully you can take at least one thing away from this video. I'm out for now, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Peace out.